Hey guys, you ever just have things not go according to plan? That's what happened to me. My internet went out today. There was a fire down the road. No one got hurt as far as I know. It was just like in a shed or something, and it hit a line, and everything went down. And Cox was all like, "We're Cox," and yeah, it's not going to be back up for several hours. And my plan for October was to put up a video every single day, just see if I could do it. And this does put a damper on that. I had a video ready. It's exported. I just did not get to upload it before the internet went down. So instead, I want to go ahead and just do a quick one-off recommendation video post. I don't really do these, so it's not something I'm used to. But here we go, man. So for this recommendation thing, since I can't edit in clips and pictures and shit, because I'm stupid. I don't know how phones work. I'm old, man. I'm an old. My hair's going. I used to have hair. My hairline was like down to here. Now it's full. So I pulled from my collection. So these are all movies that have physical releases that I believe they're all readily available. Like, I think you can order all of these and have them in time for Halloween. So these are all great Halloween time movies that I recommend. They're not all necessarily focused around the holiday. In fact, I think none of them are, but they all, for me, would make for really fun viewing this Halloween season. So without further ado, let's talk some recommendations. First off, I'm just going to dive right in. Perversion Story, aka One on Top of the Other, by Lucio Fulci. Lucio Fulci, of course, is one of my absolute favorite filmmakers, and I couldn't not put a movie of his on this list. Now, technically, this is probably the least Halloween-y of his oeuvre. It's not even really much of a horror film. It's more of a mystery thriller. But I think that, you know, if you're big horror fans, you've probably seen most of Fulci's work, and this is one that gets overlooked quite a bit, and it is a great sort of giallo film. Some people call it a giallo, some don't. I think it counts maybe as a giallo. It's a weird film with a very interesting twist, a lot of fun, very 60s visuals, and a really nice San Francisco setting. The electric chair comes into play. It is not exactly a barrel of laughs, but it's quite a bit of fun. Jean Sorel, or Jean Sorel, I've never actually said his name out loud. Anyway, Jean Sorel, he is the lead here, and of course he usually plays these kind of vapid, rich playboy characters, and this is no different, but it really, it fully utilizes that aspect, and I think is a great performance from both him and the rest of the cast. My air conditioning just cut on, and I don't know if that affects the video at all, because I never shoot on my iPhone. I literally, to have my iPhone set up right now, I have 3 little clips clipped onto the phone, so I can kind of rest it against my monitor and have it relatively even. I'm not an iPhone video maker, man. Anyway, Perversion Story, aka One on Top of the Other, is a great film. It's available from Mondo Macabro, and it's a really solid Blu-ray. I highly recommend it, and I just love Lucio Fulci. If you want something more horror-centric from Lucio Fulci, bonus recommendation, The Beyond is really great. There's a disc that I haven't dug into yet from Grindhouse Releasing that looks fucking amazing. Oh, I just got a $10 dig. Someone, I haven't looked at their information, but Diggum just during this recording pledged $10 to the Patreon. So thank you, Diggum. I appreciate that. Anyway, Beyond is amazing. It's such a phenomenal film. Gates of Hell is great. I reviewed Gates of Hell earlier. You can find that video on my channel, and that's a Scorpion releasing Blu-ray, and I highly recommend that Blu-ray. That is a great Blu-ray, beautiful transfer, and one of my favorite Lucio Fulci films. So there's a bunch of recommendations for you. Just go watch a Fulci movie, any Fulci movie, after his comedies. Anything like basically One on Top of the Other and after, minus like 1 or 2 films, is great viewing. I highly recommend just watch some Fulci this season. Fulci is chef's kiss. Anyway, my most recent watch, I watched this one today for the first time, which is bonkers to me, The Pit. Now, The Pit is a wacky film. It was shot in Wisconsin. So it has a very sort of regional feel to it. I love regional horror movies. And it's about basically this kid who has a teddy bear, and the teddy bear talks to him, and also he has found this pit in the middle of the woods full of oh fuck, I forgot how I put it, but little like trog monsters, and they eat flesh. And the story goes as you'd expect, and it is a fucking blast. I don't want to dig too much into this, partly because I only have so much time. I don't know when my camera's gonna fill up, or my phone's gonna fill up. Anyway, but the pit is a lot of fun. It was way more fun than I expected, and I cannot wait to dig into these extras. There's an audio commentary by some film historians, including Paul Karupe of Conexploitation.com. Interview with several people, including the stars, the screenwriter, the composer. Really solid looking Blu-ray. The transfer is really good. The elements are not amazing, but the transfer itself is pretty good. It works perfectly for a movie of this type. It is so weird, so trashy, so fucked up. I highly, highly recommend The Pit. It's a great time. And it's from Kino Lorber, who, quite honestly, just, they put out great releases. They're very bare bones, not a whole lot to see here, but considering the price, phenomenal releases. I love Kino, and I love this movie. This is one of my new favorites. Check it out. Next up, House, or as some people call it, House, but just call it House. It's fine. Just call it House. So House, not the Steve Miner House. This, I always fuck up his name. Somebody just do it phonetic, or let me read it out. From director Nobuhiko Obayashi, is House. It's a Japanese, obviously, film that you've probably heard of. It's a bit of a cult classic. It is one of my favorite what the fuck movies. It has a lot of very interesting stylistic flourishes that I find it hard to even describe. But it makes me wish that Obayashi's other films were more readily available. He's not really a director with a lot of movies readily available to the English market, or American market, I guess. And it's really just a shockingly good film. The Pit and this are movies that I plan on doing pretty big videos on at some point. The Pit sooner, just because it's less daunting to put together. But House, this is available from Criterion Collection, of course, and it is a great release for a phenomenal film full of artistic decisions that just blew my mind when I first watched it. There's certain movies that I've watched in my life that have changed how I view cinema, and House is definitely one of those, because it does not give a fuck. House, highly recommend it. A bunch of schoolgirls in a haunted house, fucked up shit. There's a cat, a piano, eats people. It's fucking baller. Highly recommend, highly recommend. Next up, this is another one that I only recently watched. I watched this with some patrons, and we had a great time. I think this is actually available, I think it's available either on Shudder or Arrow Player. Either way, it's available for streaming, but I also highly recommend the Blu-ray for Doom Asylum. This one is available through Arrow, and Doom Asylum is, I put this off for so long because I thought it might not be very good. I heard a lot of negative things about it, and then I watched it, and it's one of the funniest fucking movies I've ever seen. I was a little stoned, but it follows this lawyer who is in a car accident, and 10 years later kills a bunch of teenagers. That's basically the plot. And it's mostly shot in an actual shut down mental asylum, and it's full of very bad acting, very poor decisions, and its tongue is firmly in cheek. But it's one of those movies where even when the comedy fails, it kind of like works its way back around and works perfectly well. I don't know how to fully describe it, but it is so much fun and so wild. And of course, Arrow always puts together a great presentation, so I highly recommend Doom Asylum. It is just a bucket of fun. There's a lot of really, I'm not going to call them all great gore gags, but fun gore gags. Fun is the operative word here. If you want to, I talk a lot about party movies on my channel, and this is very much a party movie, but it's also a movie I think you can enjoy by yourself. But with friends, it's a whole nother, just like Super Saiyan 4 experience. I love it. Next up, this one's a bit less, again, of a horror movie. This one's more of a thriller. This is kind of a proto-giallo. I know that Troy Howarth in his book describes it as one of the first giallo films, and I get that. But this is a film by Luigi Bazzoni and Franco Rossellini, and that is The Possessed. Now, The Possessed, as I said, it is not much of a horror film. It does have horror elements. There's definitely a horror aspect to it. But if you really want to dig into kind of the history of giallo films, I love gialli, and I know a lot of people who watch my channel love gialli films. So yeah, The Possessed stars Peter Baldwin, and he rocks it. Oh God. It's so Luigi Bazzoni, he's most notable for The Fifth Chord, and not a very long career, Luigi Bazzoni, but he made it count. And The Possessed is such a wonderful piece of work. Again, not much of a horror movie, but it's very atmospheric, and I think that atmospheric movies, no matter what genre, as long as they kind of skirt the lines a bit, are always great for Halloween, because it is an atmospheric holiday. So highly recommend The Possessed, available from Arrow. One last one from Arrow. This one, I was going to recommend Pieces, but then I realized that I didn't want to recommend a bunch of movies that were already featured on the last drive-in, so I went with something a little different, and that different is Slugs. So Slugs, directed by Juan Piquer Simon. It is so much fun. Bunch of killer slugs invade a small town. Gore is had, a lot of violence. You wouldn't think that slugs would be able to cause a lot of damage, but they straight up blow up a fucking house. And I am forever in love with how this film so creatively utilizes its concept. There's one scene where there's a close-up of a slug that just shows its gaping mouth and these like sets of razor sharp teeth, and it is an image forever burned into my brain. And I don't really know what else to say about Slugs without going over my time, but yeah, just look at this cover art. Look at that shit. Looks dope as hell, right? Go buy or stream that if it's available. I don't know if it's available for streaming, but it might be. I don't know. I don't have any internet. Fuck off. So let's see. Dario Argento presents The Sect. This is not a Dario Argento film. This is a film by the one and only Michele Soavi. And Michele Soavi, he directed Stage Fright and Cemetery Man. And he's another one of those Italian directors who did not have a huge career. He's still working. He did his most recent sort of genre film was The Christmas Witch, which is, reasonably fun. It's very much a children's movie, but it's a good time. It's actually available on Amazon if you want to watch a Christmas movie with a kind of Halloween twist. With your kids, The Christmas Witch is a good time. I think it's enjoyable enough that you'll have at least the base level of fun. But The Sect is a very Lovecraftian horror film from Michele Soavi. It's the one that I hear less about. I don't remember the last time I heard anyone talk about The Sect. It's always about Cemetery Man or Stage Fright, which makes sense. Those are phenomenal movies. I highly recommend them if you haven't watched them. Those would also work this month. Look at that. Bonus recommendations. But The Sect, it is one of my more recent viewings. And I think it's the last Michele Soavi movie I needed to watch, I think. Pretty sure. Unless I'm missing something, which I could be. I'm very stupid. But yeah. I don't really know what to say other than there's a veritable fuckload of atmosphere. I really enjoy all the performances of the film. Performances of the film. The main woman rather, is great. I don't remember her name. Kelly Curtis, sister of Jamie Lee Curtis. Kelly Curtis is really solid. She's definitely not up to the same level of I think certain actors have like a type of charisma that is just different from normal people. I think Jamie Lee Curtis certainly has more of that, but you shouldn't underestimate Kelly Curtis. Kelly Curtis is still really solid. There's a great face-off gag type thing in this movie that blew my mind when I watched it. It's not really the most complicated effect, but it's something it's very... it just works really well. It's a very well done reveal. And just the whole, it has that sort of dream logic of a lot of films from Italian horror filmmakers that I personally like. It does make more sense than something like, it makes more sense than say like Gates of Hell, but you do have to pay attention. It's very much a tension heavy movie. But yeah, really like that. This is why I don't do recommendation videos. I'm not very good at it. But whatever, I needed a video. Life Force, this one is available. Oh. Shouldn't have stacked them like that. All right. Oh, and this is from Scorpion Releasing as well. So Scorpion Releasing, yay! The first one from Scorpion. Did I already say this? It doesn't matter. Life Force. Life Force. I haven't actually watched Life Force in a long time, so I don't really have any specifics about it other than if you like nudity, has great nudity. If you like great special effects, has great special effects. If you like Patrick Stewart, has Patrick Stewart. This is a space vampire movie from Tobe Hooper. It's fucking rad as hell. It was an overblown production that was not great for Tobe Hooper's career. I'm so bad at this. This is why there's so many edits in my videos. For Tobe Hooper's career, but for our entertainment, it was fantastic. I love Life Force. I'm really looking forward to revisiting it. It's just one of those things that I keep putting off because I suck. And I find it hard to go back to movies to revisit because I always have new stuff to watch. But this is a Shout Factory release. Yeah, buy it if you can grab it. It might be streaming somewhere, I don't know. But if you like energy-sucking space vampires, fuck yeah, man. Good stuff. Last two. All right, so The Hidden. This one's from Warner Archive. The Hidden stars Kyle MacLachlan. And it is a weird concept that works far too well. Basically, there is this body-hopping alien that just wants to cause havoc, and Kyle MacLachlan is this mysterious FBI agent who's after him, and then there's a cop that's also after him. And at one point, he becomes a woman, or takes over the body of a woman, and it's pretty great. And there's just a lot of havoc. It's a movie built around just creating havoc, and under the direction of Jack Shoulder, it is fucking just so amazing with a very, very sweet ending. I don't know, Roger Ebert on the quote here actually gives the perfect summary. A cross between Invasion of the Body Snatchers and the Terminator. Exactly that. I love this movie. And I just realized this is a commentary by director Jack Shoulder and Tim Hunter. I really want to listen to that. So I might have to pop that up the list of stuff to do. But also, if you love Kyle MacLachlan, which I do, good shit. Last one. This one, it's not really what most people would consider a horror movie, but I think it is. It's a very actually disturbing film about mental illness and about, you know, it's kind of a satire of comic books and hero worship. And that film is Robot Ninja. This one's available from Tempe Digital, and which I believe you have to go to MakeFlix, if I'm not mistaken, to order this. Anyway, Robot Ninja. This is what year was this? This was 1989, which makes sense. The year of Batman. That makes a lot of sense. And it, I don't want to spoil it, but basically it's about a comic book artist who decides to become the superhero that's in his comics, and things go poorly, to say the very least. Things go very poorly. And this is sort of directed by J.R. Bookwalter. He did The Dead Next Door and Ozone. I've actually still not seen The Dead Next Door because I suck. But J.R. Bookwalter, he has a bit of a cult following, and for good reason. Like, this is not the best made film ever. It has a lot of flaws. It is extremely low budget. The acting is abysmal in scenes. But I really enjoyed this film far more than I thought I would, and it's only because some of my patrons recommended it that I even bought it. But they were really certain that it would be something I would enjoy, and sure enough, it was. It is an unconventional horror film, but I consider it a horror film nonetheless. At very least, it is a really fucked up genre film that I think you'll enjoy this Halloween. You know, it's a season of wearing masks in a year of wearing masks, and this is about a character wearing a mask. So how much more October, Halloween 2020 can you get than Robot Ninja? Highly recommend. that film. All of these films I highly recommend. This is a recommendation video. Of course I recommend them. Yeah, I don't have anything else to really say. This is a 20-odd minute video, which I'm sure is going to take 10 years to upload on my cell phone connection. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching this. And I'm sorry that it's not great content, but I'm really dedicated to this idea of doing a video every day. I will be putting out 2 videos tomorrow because I feel bad that I messed up this thing most people don't care about. So check out those. That includes my first Vinegar Syndrome review from the September package. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. Thanks to my patrons. I'm sorry I don't have an end credits crawl on this video. And yeah. Go watch a movie, fam.